Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Jolly Life. I don't I don't know the words to use, but what we're going to talk about today, it's some of you are already aware, some of you are not, some of you have been talking about it, some of you are like, it's just another one of those things, and some of you, the banter is what you live for. And if you fall into the category that the banter is what you live for and you still talk about it, you're still having the argument with your friends, then this edition of the program is for you. I am Emmanuel Tamunor Tenary, but you can call me Tammy for short. And of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me the beautiful Vera Phillip, our very own weather oracle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tammy. Good afternoon. How are you doing, though?
Well, I am...
What happened? You're not doing well.
It's not like I'm not doing well, but...
Yeah.
The controversy we're going to talk about today, it's
you.
one that, honestly speaking, I personally would not have expected it in years to come. If anyone would have told me or made a prediction that this could have happened or there's a possibility of this happening, personally speaking, some others will say, oh, it was written in the stars, it was there all along. But personally speaking, I did not see it coming. I did not expect it to happen, but of course, it is what it is, and that's why I'm in a state of discombobulation. I am flabbergasted, and I am intrigued at the same time. So that's why I'm more or less, should I use the word, lost for words, but overall, I'm doing good. I'm happy, I'm doing nice, the weather is nice, everything is chill, relaxing, no bad news so far, woke up on the right side of the bed, survived till now and hoping to survive till later. So far, I'm doing perfectly fine.
At the end of the day, that's what we definitely need to be thankful for, the very little wins that you probably don't even see that are happening. So it's important that you're thankful for those times. And me, I'm just thankful that cold have not finished me today, because this office has been extremely cold. I don't understand what's going on. Like, we've not had, so much rainfall today outside.
If anything, the sun was out.
The sun was out.
You could have taken a leisurely walk.
Normally, of course, office policies, the ACs have to always be on. And I'm like, can we just change? I've been wearing coat ever since. But yeah, it's one of the things that we are grateful for, because at the end of the day, the ACs help us, right? And also, we don't necessarily need to be in hot rooms or in stuffy rooms. We can always enjoy the cool
atmosphere.
Ambience that of course comes with having the AC on. Anyways, away from the AC talk, away from anything that has to do with me, we're here to talk about something on our journey life. Today's conversation, as Tammy has said, is one that is surprising, but I don't think I'm surprised actually. It's just of recent that we sat down to talk about another beef that happened in the industry. So I'm not surprised at this point. I think the only thing that's going to surprise me now is the length that they will go in this their beef that probably have never happened before. Maybe what has never happened before, because Burna Boy has actually beaten somebody before. So what has not happened before? I don't know the length that they will go that I'll be surprised. I don't think I am aware. Is it court case? They've done it. Is it physical fight? But now they've all brought out boxing. match, you know,
exactly.
that actually if you have problem with another
Come to the
celebrity,
ring.
come to the ring and fight. So there's no level they will get to now that I'll be surprised. I'm not surprised, disappointed, yes, but surprised, no, I'm not. So yes, let's just get straight to the conversation anyways.
Well, the conversation is the Black Bones and Udumudu Black controversy that's making the rounds on social media. And as you know, or you don't know, Udumudu Black accused Black Bones of sexual assault, and this is not just, you know, the issue of now. They've had issues for quite some time. It started as, you know, normal industry rivalry. At first, they were collaborators. You know, they were friends. Well, I will not say friends, but they collaborated on
No, they were
tracks.
friends. 'Cause they even said it themselves that they were friends, like before now. They were friends. So the mother has said he has never been friends with him, but we also see the
Yes.
messages where they have been friends.
They have been friends,
So they
yeah.
should stop that thing.
So that's why I was like, you know, I don't even know if I should call them friends, because you know how most of these celebrities are. When they may come out online and they're like looking like they're good friends, they're on good terms, but it's just, you know, for clout. Once they go behind closed doors, it seems like another story is the case. But you know, Vera has, you know, pointed out out to me that they were indeed friends because they collaborated on several songs. You know, I believe Tesla Boy was one of them, and a couple other songs that they collaborated. I think Technician, they also collaborated on Technician. So they collaborated on a couple of songs together, and those songs were really good. You know, so it started off being industry rivalry. I think Udumudu Black posted that there wasn't an album that beat his own Izioku at the time, and I think Black Bones had dropped his album Emeka Must Shine, you know, that was also making waves, so people saw it as, okay, banter, normal, you know, banter. It kept escalating and escalating and escalating. They were dropping diss track after diss track against each other, and things peaked, I believe, in 2025 when Black Bones revealed that he was exclusive with a girl. Well, more or less like they were in, you know, a beneficial relationship.
Friends
They
with
were
benefits.
friends with
He was
benefits.
very particular about it.
Exactly, he was very particular about it, that they are friends with benefits. So, and of course, Black Bones, it didn't come as a surprise, because everyone knows Black Bones has always been that avid preacher against relationship. He has always been preaching that relationships are not the way to go. If you want to be with someone, it's best to just be with the person. You know, just be sexual with the person if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for love, well, he is not an advocate for love. So when he came out to say that he is with a lady and they are friends with benefits, it didn't really come as a surprise to me or to anyone else on social media. What came as a surprise later on was that it turns out that the lady was also exclusive with Udumudu Black. You know, I think that was when everything, like, exploded, went beyond control, because it then seemed as though, you know, they were both dating the same lady, you know. And I think later on, Black Bones ended his relationship with the lady, and the lady, I think, accused him of sexual assault and stalking and a whole lot of other things. And later on, it turns out that, you know, I think they Black Bones said he tried to reach out to Udumudu Black, sent him a message, you know, to find out if they had any issues or anything, texted him. Udumudu Black responded that, you know, Black Bones should not text him, that they don't have anything, that they are not bros, they shouldn't be, that Black Bones shouldn't text him, what's he texting him for, and all of that. So Black Bones, all of this is revealed, you know, in an interview he had with Rufai Oseni, and he basically read text messages that were, you know, less than tasteful, you know, with a lot of bad words, swear words being thrown at him. And he was like, he doesn't have the strength for all of this stress, you know, he doesn't have the would I say, time to face all of this wahala. And of course, they've been throwing jabs at themselves on social media as well, before Udumudu Black came out to accuse him of sexual assault on the same lady. And that was where Black Bones drew the line and said, no, you can't, you know, accuse me of a crime so severe. We're taking the matter to court. This is not social media banter anymore. This is a matter that it destroys relationships, it destroys lives, it destroys future, and there's a lot of people that already suffer from this particular issue. So you accusing me of it is undermining what these people go through. It shouldn't be an issue that should be thrown around, leisurely. And he has said that he's going to see the matter to the end. It doesn't matter how it ends. It doesn't matter what's going to happen to him. That if anything happens to him, his family will finish it. If anything happens to Odumodu Black's family will finish it. And if anything happens to the girl's family will finish it. But he will ensure that this matter is seen to the very end, because you can't come out to accuse, someone of sexual assault, which is, an unspeakable crime. So I can understand having beef. I can understand having, you're not on talking terms. I believe Black Bones even dropped a screenshot of the WhatsApp message that Odumodu Black texted him. And Odumodu Black texted him a very funny question, asking him when Black Bones in particular and the lady last had, sexual intercourse. And honestly speaking, I think that should be one of the questions that, if you are dating the ex of someone I don't think that's a question that you are advised to ask said person or the girl that you're seeing now. And they went on to say, me and you were brothers, no be all these things with this up. And then Black Bones responded and said, exactly, bro, now why all these things they weird me? And then Black Bones responded to Odumodu Black, asking him when last the girl and he had sex. He said, bro, I don't know what she tell you, so I no fit answer this question and affect what you guys have. And then Odumodu Black did a whole 180 and said, then we are enemies since you are not telling me. I'm face out, bro, peace out. And honestly speaking, this is where it comes as a surprise to me, Vera, because I know we had this talk, behind the scenes before the cameras were rolling, but Odumodu Black, like, of all the hardened men I know it's a persona. You understand? I know that artists, actors, social media influencers, they push a persona. I mean, we've had Okon Lagos here. He tells you that, look, it's a persona. The persona that sells, the persona that the people accept, the persona that gets the people going. That is the persona that you sell out. And even the picture we just showed you of Odumodu Black, he looks fierce. Odumodu Black is that person that gives you that street vibe. I don't care, I'm not a mushy, I'm not a, should I say, lover boy. You understand? So hearing that Odumodu Black is having issue with another artist, Black Bones in particular, that relationship is not on his plate. Woman problem is not, it wasn't on his bucket list to say, I'm going to cause problem in you and your relationship. Like, that's why I was speechless from the start. Because it's like, are we serious right now? Are we still in the situation where the past in a relationship is what is causing rifts between two individuals of this caliber? Two individuals that are well known in the Nigerian music industry, making waves. Two people that, if they were to ever collaborate again, it's not only going to be best for both of their brands, it's going to also be a hit for the Nigerian music industry. And then what is causing problems between them is, I don't want to downplay it, but what is causing problem between them is a woman.
When you put it like that,
that's why I said, that's why I had to point it out first. I'm not trying to downplay it, like that. But when you look at the grand scale of things, when you look at the image they have to keep, when you look at who they are, what they stand for, the potential that they can bring, and then it's like relationship wahala is what is causing this issue. And so far, false allegations, because it hasn't been proven yet. Black Bones is innocent until proven guilty. So until proof is dropped that he indeed sexually assaulted this lady, it's false allegations.
Okay, so my thought process, first of all, I don't know why I'm excited that this is happening. I think what's making me excited is just because we see this as a common thing that occurs between women. Like you see women fight over, over a man, and then we're always like, why do you have to do that? You know, the men will never fight over a woman.
Oh, so now you're happy that the shoes
that
the other
we have men fight over a woman, like, go boy. No, yes, we need to balance these things, but at the end of the day, these are things that should not be encouraged. At the end of the day, we should have more moral standings for ourselves as a person, especially given who we are in the country. And you said something about Odumodu. Oh, is it Odumodu, the hardest person?
Odumodu.
One time somebody told me, I can't remember who honestly, but I know I was in the midst of certain people, I think a friend as well, and somebody said that he was counting the artists we have in Nigeria that are lover boys, and the person added Odumodu Black, and I remember that day I was like, Odumodu Black, with all the daga and every conversations, and it was like, listen to Odumodu's lyrics well, Odumodu is a lover boy.
He's a lover boy,
right? And then I started to pay attention to Odumodu more, and maybe that influenced me, and I just knew that this boy is definitely a lover boy, this boy is serious, so and stuff like that. And over the years as well, we've also seen his colleagues refer to him as Odumodu love, Odumodu is a lover boy. We've also made reference, him himself, Odumodu is always making reference to his girlfriend. I think one artist, I can't remember who, played a game of how he saved his girlfriend on his phone, and it was one long emoji and stuff like that. You can see Odumodu is literally that kind of person that will be a baby for his babe, or all of that. I don't think he is naturally the hard guy that will just play on a babe and all of that. I don't think so. Besides, he's a mommy's boy, not in a bad way. You get? So I feel like mommy's boys have that tendencies to be very loving, caring, and just to be available to, you can refer to them as a simp, but I'm not saying Odumodu Black is a simp, but some people might want to categorize him into that, a box. But at the end of the day, I love it when we have boys who can give this impression that they are bad boys, but at the end of the day, they are really loving and caring inside. Now, back to the initial conversation of what's going on here. That's the possible issue between Odumodu Black and Black Bones is because of a woman. Now, this part actually breaks my heart to see, because there are two things that could have possibly happened after the reveal. By reveal, I mean when they knew that, okay, we might both be involved with the same guy, the same lady.
The same lady.
See me saying the same guy, because it's common amongst ladies. So there are other of two things that would have happened. Bro, Alpha, you deal with this girl, because I one of the things I love about Nigerians is their way of, especially our Nigerian men, their way of communication, and of course the unity they have irrespective of what is going or who is involved, especially if it has to do with women. I'm expecting that the conversation will be like, bro, how far this girl, I know this girl, I deal with the girl, I take the girl serious, so say me don't deal with the girl or stuff like that. That kind of conversation will be like, okay, no problem. And maybe even if the guy don't want to tell you, I also think that for Black Bones, and it's funny because I would have the wrong impression of Black Bones before even reading those messages. I was thinking that Black Bones would be the kind of person that would be a kiss and tell. Like, that would be my thought process about him. But seeing that he respected the girl enough to be like, I can't tell you when last that happened between us, because I don't know what's going on between the both of you. As in, risking that friendship he has with Odumodu Black to protect the girl's integrity, that to me is 100%, because honestly speaking, we don't have men, not to take any jabs at men, but we barely have men who act that way anymore. Like, a lot of girls get scared to get involved with men because of this singular issue of going out there to speak, at any given opportunity, to ring the bell that we have gone there, we have seen the Jerusalem, and we have come out. So having to see that, he did that was very, for me, it was 100%, but of course, he did not sit well with Odumodu Black, and Odumodu got offended by this. I do not think that Odumodu should have gotten entirely offended by this. The right person to have that conversation with is, of course, the girl in question. Also, what is the
I think maybe he had the conversation with the girl,
and the girl was not telling
what she told him. He wanted to confirm from both sides.
Yeah, from both sides, if that's true. Well, to me, I feel like if your girlfriend actually is having, like, at the same time, while you are with her, she's having something to do with this person, you have a choice. It's either you are with this person or you're too embarrassed to be the person enough to walk away. Having to involve your friend, or having to, you know, become, I can understand Odumodu Black, like, this is my bro, I'm expecting you to tell me what's going on. I understand, but I also understand Black Bones, who is just trying to protect a girl's image, you know, or whatever it is that this girl might be, you know, telling him, you know. So I do understand from both sides, but is it a problem that should extend to the point that it has extended now, that Odumodu Black is literally calling Black Bones out and calling him a rapist, or, you know, accusing him of sexual assault? That I do not know. You know, I can understand.
You see, that's exactly what I'm also pointing out too. That who knows what she told him, because
the lady has even come out to speak as well.
Exactly. I had said that earlier, that she accused him
of sexual
assault.
Yeah.
So who now knows what exactly she must have told Odumodu Black that warranted this type of reaction? So maybe based off of what, you know, Odumodu Black asked, you know, Black Bones. He asked him, when was the last time you guys had sex?
I think I can understand that theory, right? The theory where she has told Odumodu Black that, okay, see you, this person sexually assaulted me, or something, and he probably doesn't believe it, or he wants to confirm from Black Bones, and then he tries to have the conversation with Black Bones, and Black Bones is like, oh my, I can't tell you anything now, no, you know, and he now hates Black Bones for that, and begins to trust what the lady has had to say. You know, it's funny, honestly. It's very, very funny, honestly. But at the end of the day, this matter is in court, and a lot needs to be proven. I don't think that
in court for 2 billion naira.
Yeah, I don't think that sexual assault is one thing that should just be let to slide. So if truly Black Bones, I've also seen Black Bones in an interview say he can never, you know, rape a girl or anything like that. That if I remember the interview so clearly, he was like, if he ever finds out that, you know, a guy, you know, has raped a girl, like, how, you know, and that, I wish I could remember who he had that interview with, and it was like, why would you do, when they're like, how many girls we did this for? So for someone like that, I don't see the possibility of it being a sexual assault. I'm not also saying the girl is lying, but I'm saying currently we're having this case in court, and there's a lot that needs to be proven. You know. So
honestly, I think that's why Black Bones was so confident to sue Odumodu Black. And say, look, and he said it in the interview that, look, it doesn't matter what happens. This case is going to
court.
It's going to reach a conclusion. Even if something happens to me, I will make sure they finish this case. My family will finish this case. If anything happens to Odumodu Black, his family will finish this case. If anything happens to the lady, her family will finish this case. Because and that's another thing I would want to commend. I love the fact that he took it extremely seriously, because
sexual assault is a serious allegation.
It is a very serious case. But you know, some people, you know, once you're innocent, the need to want to fight for your innocence, you know, is rather low. It's just like someone walking in here and say, Vera is the one that stole my tab. And then you're like, would you say, they steal it, they steal it? Like, some people may, you know, react that way. Some people, they get more offended when they're innocent, while some people, they see it more or less as, why do I need, it's already, like, it's obvious that I am not, you know, all I need to ask you is bring your proof. But in this case, he went as far as suing him for criminal defamation, and of course suing him for 2 billion. So at this point in time, I think it now falls on Odumodu Black, because when you accuse someone of something, it is your responsibility to bring the proof that shows that this person is guilty of what you're accusing them of. That's one reason that accusation you need to be extremely careful before you accuse someone of anything. Because if someone accuses you of something, it doesn't fall on you to prove your innocence. It falls on the other person to prove your guilt. It's when the other person then brings, you know, said proof as to show that you are guilty, then it falls on you to prove your innocence. That's why it is innocent until proven guilty. Because until that proof is brought, there is nothing to show that you are actually guilty. So now that Odumodu Black has been sued, I do hope that it's not just based off of, you know, talk stories and, you know, emotional explosions. that caused him to, go and say, oh, because you did this, you did that. I think there was a write-up that was posted on social media. If we can have that, it's a very long write-up, but it was to Blackbone, so you can find that for yourself on social media. But to summarize all of this, it's, for lack of better words, it is not only calling out, industry heads, it is also calling out Blackbones as a manipulator, calling him out as different things altogether. Odumodu Black also came out to talk about how a lot of, big wigs in the industry have, suppressed or helped Blackbones get away, that it's not the first time that he was involved in sexual assault, and a lot of big wigs in the industry have helped him dodge said cases. I think he called some names like Bizo Sikoya and as an enabler, and he called a couple of other names that they skip my head right now. But I believe that everyone whose name he called, they are also accomplices now, because their names have been dropped on such a serious case. I think he called Bizulu Sikoya, he called Motolani Alake, and he called Kemi Smalls. So these are people he called that he termed enablers of Blackbones, sexual promiscuity and his assault. This case, Vera, I think this case, if Odumodu Black is found wanting, honestly speaking, I think he should do prison time. If I'm being honest with you. If he is found wanting. If these allegations
are false,
turned out to be baseless and false, I think he should do prison time, and I think the lady should do prison time.
Yeah.
Because this is not a small allegation.
Yeah, true, actually. It's not the first time he's calling these people, especially Kemi Smalls. He has dragged Kemi Smalls before on X, calling her an enabler to Blackbone's promiscuity. And Kemi Smalls will always be like, what exactly did I do wrong? Exactly. I only granted Blackbones an interview. The same interview I granted you as well. So what's the problem? And honestly speaking, I feel like when you come on social media, it's not the first time that we are seeing Odumodu Black come on social media to actually talk to people, or to come on social media to actually accuse people of stuff. It's one thing to come on social media because you have the platform and accuse people, but there is a way and manner in which things are done, right? And that is, of course, the court of law. And if you go to the court of law, like who usually says that thing on social media, it says the social media court is different from the court of law. Social media court, there's too much sentiment.
That's the court of people's opinion.
Yes, the court of law, we're definitely going to be having facts. So you cannot be spilling things on social media because you have the ability, or because you have the the platform, and you cannot defend it in court, because that's where you're going to actually have to pay if you cannot defend in court. So at the end of the day, as much as I love Odumodu Black, I really do hope that he's not working with emotions but with facts. And these are issues that I don't even know. Record labels, music executives, especially those kind of people that put in extra work during the times of Mr. P and Rude Boy, the square issues. Like, is there anything that can be done? Because it's just like issues are flying left, right, center. And I do understand that, of course, music artists will definitely have issues, but don't we have people in the industry, the likes of Polo, the likes of Soso Beroko, don't we have those people pay attention to your artists, to these artists, and try to solve whatever issues that is going on between them, or at least try to hear them out? Because social media is one place. You can't always come on social media to solve all your problems. You have David and Wande Cole doing their own thing there.
Exactly.
You have even one Wizkid and Burna Boy, and like you say, everybody's having issues with everybody. And funnily enough, there are people who are really talented and selling in the music market on streaming platforms.
Exactly.
So what is the argument about? What is the struggle about? What is it that you both cannot settle outside of social media? We have Dapper and Sheyi Vibes and Shali Poppy having their own issues there. Record label and their signees. It's a lot going on in the music industry, and for an industry that has so much opportunities, and when I mean opportunities, streaming,
exactly.
The beef is getting out of hand. It's destroying rooms for even the smaller or the upcoming artists to even have a face. Because tell me why you are supposed to choose between these artists and these artists, who you can work with and who you cannot work with. I remember a time where Odumodu Black said he was basically in a space where he had to choose between Wizkid and Davido who he's going to work with. It doesn't have to be that way.
I've forgotten who Burna Boy had an issue with.
Yeah, because
that he
because
was talking. That video, that live stream was always funny. This man was just quiet with Burna Boy. Burna Boy was talking and talking and talking. He did not say one word, because saying anything would then seem as though he's siding Burna Boy, and that then closes the door for collaboration
yeah,
against this other artist he was having beef with. So I love the fact you brought that up, because it's like these types of issues, it then creates a rift, it creates a divide, because this person may love this artist more, but then they're like, I want to collaborate with this artist as well. And then with this divide happening, if this person hears that you like this artist, or you collaborated with this artist and you want to come and collab with me, it will really affect upcoming artists. So I really love the fact you pointed that out.
yeah, and I really hope that the just executives they have in the music industry, this stakeholders they have in the music industry, that they find a way to solve those issues in-house, and leave, or even if it's not even in-house, in the court of law. But bringing out on social media, as much as we love gist on this social media room, but having to have so much beef going on, it's really telling on what the industry is building, and the future of even the African industry, the African music industry, especially Nigerian music industry, is telling on the future of the music industry here in Nigeria. And I really hope that we can do something about it, just so we can remain on top. Nigerian music is really on top when we talk about African music right now. Even globally, we are raising standards. We are putting ourselves on the map. But when these are the kind of issues that tear artists down, tear performance down, and even tear collaborations down.
Indeed.
So when it does that, obviously it tells on what the future of this particular music industry will look like. And it's not fair to the younger ones who are coming in, who are looking up to these people. It's even promoting a lot of beef. It feels like now, if you don't have beef with someone, you'll not go blue.
You'll not blue, exactly.
And that is a wrong information. That is wrong information. That is even wrong grooming.
Exactly.
That is really wrong for us to be giving. But then these people are going to look at what is working and work with what is working. So even if you try to sensitize them over that and be like, oh no, that's not how it's supposed to be, by the time they see that the person that is having beef is working for them, that's what they want to adopt. And before you know it, you are tearing down the industry one bit after the other, and it's sad, honestly.
It really is sad. And unfortunately, what's even more sad is that this is where we would have to draw the curtains for today's Jolly Life. Honestly speaking, I do wish we had some more time. I do wish we had, the leniency to talk about this in depth, because it really needs to be addressed. That's why from the start of the show, I was like this. I was thinking. I was like this, thinking. I was like, are you serious? These two big hats, these two big names, these two individuals, these titans in the music industry, causing this rift, causing this divide. It's and then the accusation of sexual assault. Oh boy, that's just, I'm sure now you can understand why I was speechless, why the cat had my tongue at the beginning of the show. But if I were to let loose, we will talk about this until tomorrow. But unfortunately, we don't have that time. Time waits for no man. I do hope you enjoyed yourself, because I know I did. If you did, be sure to join us tomorrow, same time on Jolly Life, for another wonderful edition. Hopefully, this Black Bones issue will not develop a new leg that we need to talk about, because it is a very triggering case, a case of possible sexual assault and a case of possible false accusations. So I do hope it's a matter that will mellow down, settle down, and it will be solved amicably. If anyone is found wanting, they face the law. If Black Bones is found culpable of actually committing all those sexual assaults, then he should do the time that is required. If Odumodu Black and the lady, they're found culpable for, spreading false information and, lying against his name, slander, defamation, they should do the time required. I am Emmanuel Tamanor Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. And with this, we in the studio, we temporarily bid you adieu.